it home. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And what I was going to say, like when Camille says it's just a job, that's the thing. That is the job description. And that is like Sutton and Kyle. Now, they were never best friends, fine, but they were friendly. Like now they're just each in the media. Like, I'm done with this one. I'm done with, like, everybody is truly disposable. That's the job.
Yes. Yes. And it's, if you can't be a bitchy 8th grade girl on that show, you're no good to them. Because that's their energy. That's what they bring. When Sutton whipped out the joint, again, she's kind of refreshing, but I get why she needed to take the edge off. Her nerves were shot. She couldn't do it anymore. She was mentally checking out, and I don't blame her. So I hope she enjoyed it, because she'd be the only high person there. Nobody else seemed high. We've all been around people that smoke pot or were high, at least as a teenager. And what you know is that they let go and they just get kind of loose and they relax. I saw a lot of clenched fists there. That's not a byproduct of THC.
I mean, Erika was pretty chill though. And I mean, it really was funny when Erika's sitting there and she's like, I'm very sorry, Denise. And she's apologizing. And you're like, she has no clue of what she's apologizing for. That was humorous to me.
Yeah, I get why she was saying that, but in a way, it's a belittling thing to do. She was trying to put an end to Denise wanting some sincere apology that I think goes deeper. I don't think her wanting an apology had anything to do with Erika. I think the wound is much deeper. She'd probably like sincere apologies from a lot of people in her life that hurt her and that weren't there for her. So I do think what the reality show displays is women's pain. And you see that firsthand. And I think people who watch, the viewers that are watching can relate to one more than the other based on what they're going through. And I think that's why with Sutton, I just find it refreshing, because when her eyes get like super big and she can't believe Kyle said something to her, and she almost looks a little Betty Davis, for lack of a better way of putting it, of that she's in a movie scene and it just seems very dramatic but real. It's very sincere. Like, she's really having that reaction. So I just appreciate some sense of realness. Whether you like her as a person or not is totally a separate issue. It's that she's at least real with how she's feeling. And I think that's what's sort of refreshing about her.
I don't know who said this. I don't know if it was on the show or Watch What Happens or an after show or something, but someone was like, someone said this, but it was really true. Where like Sutton is like a total gangster and screaming. And then, right, the next minute, she's so Southern lady offended. Like when the eyes get big, she's so offended. And it is authentic. It's not an act, right? She's so offended by what Kyle says or someone says to her. And she's a total thug, like ready to take you out back 2 minutes before. Somebody said that it was either on the show or in an interview. And I'm like, that is something. But I do think it is authentic. I do. Like, she's fighting the good fight. And then she's like, I am a lady. I think Crystal said it. Like, I am a lady. Like, how I'm so offended by this. It's so funny.
Women at that table just need to stop using the word lady. That's like a gentrified woman, and what our idea of lady is may differ from how they feel about themselves. It's very much how you present yourself. I always laugh with my husband, and he'll say something like, I love you, lady. And I'm like, who are you calling a lady? And it's like one of our jokes. So, I mean, lady, sure. And I've seen, there's a lot of people in Beverly Hills like that, because everyone came from somewhere and they didn't necessarily come from Beverly Hills. And so some of them are sort of, already had those qualities instilled in them. And I like to see it come out, and somebody who can be refined in refined settings and who can be a baller in other settings. So I'm here for it.
What did you think of? Because I found Kim very authentic also, like when she was crying and she really was like, I want you and Kathy to be okay. I mean, granted, Kyle was probably like oh God, don't bring this on the show. Or maybe Kyle was like, great, bring this up because, you know, Kathy is
Oh, come
ratings.
on. The dinner party didn't go as well as they thought. That's why they had a whole second half to that hour. That dinner party should have been 2 hours of great
Three.
footage, but they just gave us a little bit and it was lackluster. So they had to throw in a whole other storyline. I just wanted to be clear on that.
I would agree with that. I mean, and in what world are we watching? Now we're watching and no one is blinking an eye that, I mean, I guess because it is Kim Richards, that this woman, now look, none of us left home during COVID. The fact that she locked herself away, that's normal. I locked myself away. Now we're talking about a woman who is, listen, if you realize later in life you have a talent and you pick up like an easel and you're drawing and you're actually good at it and you're coloring things in with pencils and pens, but she's drawing these animals on the actual wall of her house. I mean, no one thinks this is that just Kim Cookie Richards. Is she the cookie aunt from those animals they showed? That's on her wall, unless I'm wrong.
Did I miss that part? Did I get up and get a drink? She was drawing animals on the wall.
When her and Kyle were walking, she said, Kyle was saying like you stayed home during COVID. And she's like, yeah. And that's when I realized my talent. And they showed the pictures and Kyle said, Kim, where did all this come from? You're really good. Now these drawings were very, very good. They were like real. I mean, I can't draw a stick figure, but it was like a fox and a hen and a cat. I mean, there was like animal drawings on the wall of her house, but colored in like green and pink. Yeah. And she said, oh, in Paris, I offered Paris that I'll do these for Phoenix. I'm like, I think Paris's son is okay. I don't think Paris wants Aunt Kim to come over and get onto the wall and do a mirror. I don't know. I'm not in Paris's head. I'm going to venture to say Paris and Carter do not want Aunt Kim to draw animals on Phoenix's wall.
You know, here's the thing. We saw Kim go through destructive phase before. If drawing animals on the wall is a constructive way for her to work it out, I'm all for it. Like, go ahead, you know, whether she's good or not, do what you got to do. Her kids are grown, right? All of her
yeah
kids, does she still have one at home? Or
no, they're grown. I mean, she's have kids that are married. Yeah.
So if she wants to do that, go for it. It doesn't hurt anybody, so I don't have a problem with that. I did notice, though, did you watch Kyle's face when Kim mentioned that she met Phoenix?
Yes.
She was so pissed and hurt. Has she not met her little...
I don't know if she, I mean, now,
whatever.
I don't know about now, but that's... Well, I mean, Kyle even did that confessional where she said, you know, that's what hurts. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, Paris Hilton will always have her mother's back, always.
Right.
That's very clear. If she wasn't clear about that.
Right. But it also showed that Kim is closer.
Oh, yeah.
To them. And I think Kyle may have thought that made her look bad as well as an afterthought, because she couldn't say,